Hey friends, welcome back to a brand new video here on the Bioshock Hub. In today's video, we're going to be looking at episode 2 of my 4-part series based on the cut and removed content from the Bioshock series. More specifically, we're going to be taking a look at Bioshock 2 in this episode, as in episode 1, we covered the original Bioshock. If you missed it and want to check it out after this video, feel free to do so by clicking the link down in the description or the card at the top right hand corner of the screen. I hope you enjoy it. Without any further delay, and with all of that being said, I hope you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Let's start this off with a bang, shall we? And let's take a look at one of my favorite models of Big Daddy within Bioshock, that being the Alpha series, and more specifically, the original one, as you can see on the thumbnail of this video, or on the screen now. If the Alpha series Big Daddy looked like this in Bioshock 2, I would have been in absolute love. Just throwing that out there. When you think of Bioshock or Bioshock 2, you think that there are a lot of horror elements that belong in the game. Well, if you add this specific model of Alpha series, you know, the one with the severe deformities and what looks like he's on steroids, that would have been terrifying. I want you to imagine this, right? Imagine walking down a very, very dark hallway. You have to go in there for a specific objective. I'm just using hypotheticals here. All of a sudden you run into that rather than the Alpha series that we know of today. I guarantee you someone needs a new pair of pants after that, especially if it's the first time you ever see that Alpha series. So it is unfortunate that we didn't get a model like this, as in my personal opinion, it's completely badass. But the Alpha series is still a pretty cool model of Big Daddy. Would you guys would have liked to see something like this in the game, or do you think it doesn't really have a place within Bioshock 2? Please let me know down in the comment section below. I would very much appreciate that. One of the weirdest things to me about Bioshock and Bioshock 2, or Rapture as a whole, is the fact that not too many normal people are living there, at least not that we see. We have our typical characters like Tenenbaum, Andrew Ryan, Frank Fontaine, Suchong, people like that. However, we don't actually see any living citizens of Rapture still. Well, that was actually going to be the case within Bioshock 2, as there was an idea to have survivors that have held themselves up within Rapture, whether it's by barricading themselves in a room or a establishment or something of that effect. However, ultimately it was cut. I think this would have been an incredible thing to actually implement into the game, just for the simple fact of not knowing what they're going to do. They're super unpredictable, and I imagine they would have been super unpredictable. Could you trust them? Are they going to stab you in the back? Would they be friendly? Would they be enemies? Who knows? I just think this is a really good idea, or was a really good idea, but all we have ultimately is concept art and a dream. Do you guys think this would have been a good addition in Bioshock 2, or do you think it was just completely unnecessary? Back in episode 1, I discussed a couple of different enemies and different splicer models that were cut that would have actually made the game a lot more terrifying. So again, if you missed that, if you want to go check it out, I'll leave a link down in the description below, along with a card at the top right hand corner of this screen. I would highly recommend checking that out after this video. The reason why I'm prefacing this one with mentioning what was going on in episode 1 is because I wanted to stay on that same theme of enemy that would have been absolutely terrifying to fight. And those, as you can see on screen now, are called the Aqua Splicers. So, overall, there would have been 2 different models of them, or 2 different functionalities of them, where one, if they were fighting you inside of Rapture, they would be walking upright, almost like a human, but in the underwater sections, they would be swimming around, and you would have to fight them. So, in my opinion, that would have been sick. It would have added that much more to the underwater levels, along with the overall horror factor of having to worry about what you're going to see while walking and roaming around Rapture. You never know what could happen. You could be looting something all of a sudden, turn around, this thing is just standing in your face. Unfortunately, like most badass ideas from this series, this was cut. And this is probably one of the biggest splicer models that were cut that I would love to have seen within this game and just within the franchise in general, because it's absolutely badass. And I imagine the combat against it would have been incredible too. What do you guys think? Now, if you've been a fan of the channel for quite a while, or if you've ever popped into one of my live streams that I do frequently here on the YouTube channel, and as a side note, I will be starting those again soon, so really stay tuned for that, you would probably know that Sander Cohen is my favorite character in the entirety of the Bioshock series. Well, I hate to report that I have some rather odd information about Sander Cohen and his connection with Bioshock 2, and I know this is going to sound completely absurd, but it is a legitimate thing. So, this man, right here on the screen, he was going to be in Bioshock 2, but not in the capacity that you and I know him and possibly love him in. He was going to be a 20-foot tall rabbit. It's probably some sort of hallucination, but he was supposed to be a 20-foot tall, quote-unquote, Freudian monster bunny. Yeah. That man, Sander Cohen, the wild bunny. They were legitimately going to turn him into a rabbit. I don't know what the context behind that would have been. I don't know what it would have looked like in actual practice. I don't understand the practicality of it. I'm definitely glad that they did not include this in the game, because I don't think Sander would have been my favorite character if that would have happened. I would not have been able to take that character seriously anymore. So what do you guys think of that? Can you see Sander Cohen as a 20-foot tall rabbit? I don't. I don't whatsoever, and just thinking about it, I want to bust up laughing right now because of how silly it is. The final character I'd like to discuss within this video is one that you guys have brought up quite a bit, and it's one that I'm very much interested in because of the what if implication, and that is the little brother. So, why they were cut and removed, I'm not quite sure, because we don't exactly have that information, but it had to have been due to time constraints or budgetary issues, in my personal opinion. Now, we do have an in-game explanation or a canon reason as to why you don't see little brothers, and that's simply because the experiments didn't work and they were just failed experiments in general. The sea slug did not react properly with them. It would only properly react with little girls. So being a child in Rapture must have been absolutely terrifying, because you didn't know if A, you would become a little sister, or B, if you would get tested on to potentially become a little brother and have that test go horribly, horribly wrong. We do have some information from the Deco Devolution art book by Ronald Jan. I do hope I pronounced his name right. If not, I apologize for butchering it. But he says, and I quote, "They were supposed to be like little sisters, but they were a failed experiment. Little brothers were supposed to be aggressive, so they couldn't be used for gathering." He later goes on to say that there would have been, quote, "a little brother therapy room," end quote, within the therapy wing of Inner Persephone. Again, the what if aspect of the little brothers is the most intriguing to me, and the fact that we almost got them within the game is a fumble, in my opinion. Obviously, they had the reasons as to why they didn't include it, but it would have been nice to see something like this within the game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I would very, very much appreciate that. So friends, if you've watched all the way up until this point in the video, I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention, and just you being here in general means the world. So with that, I have a quick question. With episode 3 covering Bioshock Infinite, is there any piece of particular removed content that you guys would like to see included within that video? I'd like to get you guys more involved, whether it's with videos like this or other video projects in the future. So you just let me know if there's something that interests you, and I'll do my best to include it in that video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more BioShock content in the future, would you kindly leave a like on the video, as it helps this channel grow and this video get out there, as well as subscribing, because we are making the push to 50,000 subscribers. Thank you. If you want to stay up to date with me outside of YouTube, you can do so by joining my Discord server or following me on my social medias, the links to which will be down in the description below. With that being said, thank you all so very much for watching today's video. Take care, stay safe, and talk to you all in the next one.